Aloha, good morning. It's Caron B Davis of Caron B Realty International, and I wanted to welcome Duncan to our Friday morning talk. And Duncan, originally he was a graduate of Punahou and went to Wharton Business School, and he really prides himself on providing excellent communication with his clients, making sure they're comfortable with every step of the process, which very much we do here at Caron B Realty, and working on the best terms they can get for their clients. And before we start our talk, Duncan, I always start with something a little inspiring. And we've had a lot of clouds lately, weeks of clouds actually. And one of the quotes that I saw come across my desk this week was, if clouds are blocking the sun, there will always be a silver lining that reminds us to keep on trying.
That's a good one.
So isn't that a great one? I know.
Yeah.
And with that, let's start talking about, what are you seeing with the luxury mortgages right now?
A few things we're seeing in the mortgage market recently. One is that appraisals are taking a lot longer than they normally do. With COVID, a lot of appraisers have stopped doing appraisals, and many appraisers are not willing to do on-site inspections. So that, in combination with record volume of purchases, with refinances, the combination of the two, we have record volume of appraisal demand. And we used to get more appraisal waivers on conventional loans than we do now. Now the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have tightened up on their automated underwriting system, so we don't get as many appraisal waivers, so that adds to the demand versus last year. So that's one thing that has been a big issue on some transactions, where the appraisers are not turning around the appraisals as quickly as they used to. So that's something that can come up in transactions for luxury mortgages and mortgages in general. And rates have been moving up as well. I think a lot of people have noticed that mortgage rates have moved up a lot in the last couple of months. They're still amazingly low historically, but not as low as they were a couple of months ago. And so that affects people's buying power. And when they're getting a mortgage, they can qualify for more when mortgage rates are lower, and then how much they can qualify decreases as rates move up. So that's another recent trend that we've noticed.
And, a question I have, I've been involved in some bidding wars, and so have our agents out there right now. And, there's some incredibly brand new higher prices happening. I mean, what are appraisers doing with these, high prices that, people are bidding 10, maybe 30% more than the asking price?
Yeah, that does happen. And we were seeing a lot more deals where you have an appraisal clause where the buyer agrees to put down extra or to make the transaction work if the appraisal comes in low. And we are seeing more appraisals that do come in low, because appraisers do look at the past transactions and the comparables. We do have a lot that come in at or even above the price, but a lot of times in those bidding wars, the appraisal may come in low. And so that could trigger an appraisal clause. So it's a good idea, if you really want a property, to have an appraisal clause in case the appraisal does come in low, and if you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of good comps that would support the value that you're offering, or the price that you're offering. Even though you might have others on the market that are going for that price now, appraisers have to go by the recent closed transactions. So if they don't have closed transactions that would support the value, then that can affect the appraised value.
Absolutely. And interest rates, would you mind letting me know where the rates are at right now, as of today?
Rates, the average 30-year mortgage rate, and it varies depending on the type of product, on the type of transaction. Mortgage rates are a little higher on jumbo loans right now versus conventional loans, and VA loans and FHA loans are lower than that. But the average rates they shot up from the upper twos to about almost 3.5%. There was a survey that shows the average national mortgage rate, and it shot up to almost 3.5%, 3.48, I think was the average last week, and then it pulled back some to the 3.3s. So it's still excellent rates for historically, but it's lower. It's lower than historically, but higher than just a couple of months ago. And we have much better rates than the average. So most of our borrowers are still getting great rates below the average that we have now.
And I know when we were getting those really strong low rates on 30-year, fixed mortgages, the ARMs were not as favorable. Are ARMs coming back at all? The 5 or 7-year ARM rates at all?
ARMs, yeah, definitely when rates were lower for 30-year fixed, then ARMs were not attractive at all. They're still not as attractive because usually ARMs will require more in points up front, and you can get at least close to the ARM rate with 30-year fixed. So all of our customers, almost all of them, with 30-year fixed rather than an ARM.
Nice. And then maybe you could talk about, we touched on the ARMs. What are some other ways to finance right now that people might not know about or look for?
There are different types of products besides ARMs. You can do a shorter term, like a 15-year fixed would come with a much lower rate, although it has a much higher monthly payment. So you got to be able to qualify for the higher payment. So that's one alternative. You can have different levels of as far as the terms. You can do 20-year, 25. Usually that doesn't have as much of a impact on the rate as doing a 15-year, but 15-year mortgages definitely have a significantly lower rate than a 30-year fixed. It's just you have to be able to qualify for the much higher monthly payment.
And I'll touch on that VA mortgage too, which is incredible out there. Why don't you talk about that? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the change last year is they removed the limit on VA loans, where you can buy, if you don't have another VA loan currently, you have no limit to how high you can go with zero down. So I closed a loan last month, a 1.8 million purchase on a VA loan with 2 officers buying a luxury property. So you're seeing more VA buyers in the luxury market. I have another buyer, a vet, with 2 non-vet buyers who are bidding on a $2.6 million property, getting over a $2 million VA loan. And that's something that it's much easier to do now with rates still really low. You have veterans with that limit lifted. You have a lot more buying power for people that have enough income to buy in the luxury market. So you're seeing more veterans, and it's great for them. Their incomes have been going up as well, active military. So it's great to see veterans, especially when they combine, and you can do joint VA loans with other people as well to get to a higher price point. So we are seeing more of that.
Neat. And then maybe you can talk about, how do you keep your credit score in good shape, when you're ready to pull the trigger, as they say, and buy something? Because I can't believe how much we spend on education in the world, but, the basics of knowing what a good credit score is.
Yeah, a lot of people have no idea how to improve their credit score. Some people do, they monitor, but I get a lot of buyers, they'll come, they want to buy right away. And they just made a couple of changes a couple of months earlier, then they'd be in much better shape to buy, and they would get much better rates. They could qualify for more, and they get an easier approval. So there's all kinds of different situations, but I normally will look at a customer's credit report and I'll give them suggestions for ways to improve. You want to make sure that one of the big things is you want to make sure that your utilization on credit cards or revolving debt is low when you're applying for a mortgage, where if you have credit card balances, you want to keep those balances to 30% or lower of the limit, and that would help to maximize your score. Even if you have a small credit card with a 500 limit, if you have $400 on that credit card, that can make a big difference, 50 points or more on some people to your credit score. And that's a simple thing. You pay off the $400 credit card and your score goes way up. So there's a lot of simple things that people can do as they prepare to buy that can get them in much better position to buy a place.
Well, you just mentioned something to me as a gold nugget. It's like 30%. Don't spend more than 30% of your limit. I mean, in over 30 years being in this business, I have never had someone clearly put that, advising people. I mean, that's a wonderful statistic for people to remember. Appreciate that.
It's better to be close to zero, but 30% is a level.
No, especially these times, people are having fun being on the internet shopping, so I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, Amazon boxes all over the place.
And there's always new programs coming up. And I know you'd mentioned a new program that had come up with no mortgage insurance, which I'm very interested to hear about.
Yeah, we have a new product with great rates on jumbo loans. even with as little as 10.01% down, people can buy up to $2 million, $2 million loan without mortgage insurance. So that's a great product that came out last week, and I've got a couple of deals using that already. And so it's something that works really well. I used to do those types of loans for people, and we would do a piggyback HELOC and get 2 loans involved. But it's much easier when you have just the one loan and one lender that you're working with to close the deal, and you can close much faster with that product than with trying to do the way we used to do it.
So,
yeah. So I
So
was just going to say that's an important thing when you're in a competitive situation, to be able to close faster. And with that product, we can close much faster than some other jumbo lenders.
And I know throughout the years of selling real estate to clients is, when they had a low down, and that mortgage insurance would always put them off from buying today. They'd say, well, I don't want to pay mortgage insurance. I'll just save the money, then I'll be ready to buy. So
right.
I
So
hope you get that word out. Yeah. Very positive.
Yeah.
Very positive. And then, of course, what's your prediction for the mortgage business in the next 12 months, would you say?
I think we're going to see rates have been trending up, and if they continue on their trend, then you'll see fewer refinances, because people have been buying with pretty low rates the last couple of years, and you're not going to get as many people refinancing to lower their rate if rates are going up higher. So that will affect the mortgage market, and you'll see. I think we'll see more inventory. Inventory has been extremely low, and as seasonally, you'll get more inventory as get to spring and summer. So hopefully that will help with increasing the volume of transactions on the purchase side. So from our perspective in the mortgage business, we'll probably be doing fewer refinances, more purchases, but it'll be more competitive in the mortgage business, because that refinance business is drying up, and then more people will want to get involved with the purchase business. My son is home from school. I'm just trying to feed him.
Oh, very cute. Oh, he's gorgeous. Look at him. What's his name, Duncan?
His name is Lucian. He's off for Kuhio Day, and he's preschool. He's home, and he's trying to feed me his chip.
Very cute. And Prince Kuhio Day, we did a little research on Prince Kuhio Day, and he was very lots of accomplishments in servicing the people in Hawaiian Islands, and he was actually one of the pioneers for surfing, and in 1885 introduced surfing to California. So we wanted to get a little bit of a conversation piece on what is Prince Kuhio's Day. So
that's great.
We'll share that with you. And then anything else you would like to mention to our audience today, and before we move on to Marianne's photos?
I think that one of the things that's important for people to realize is there's not just one way to finance a deal. Some lenders focus on one type of loan, and if you can't do that loan, then a lot of times people will give up. We do all kinds of deals where we'll be creative, and we'll package up a piggyback HELOC, for example, to make a deal work. Or we work with all kinds of lenders, both nationally and locally. We have all kinds of different programs to make deals work. So I would tell people, if they really want a property and they're having trouble with financing, it's something that is specific to the lender that they're working with. There's a good chance that we'll be able to make it work. We've got a lot of different solutions to satisfy different needs and to meet different criteria to save deals. So we've saved a lot of deals where otherwise they wouldn't have been able to close.
Neat. And I know I've worked firsthand with you, and I was so impressed, and thank you so much. I mean, you came up with amazing creative solutions. I was so impressed. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, Duncan, what's the best phone number or email? How should they reach out to you?
My phone number